Shatterhand is an action game for the Nintendo NES, or NES, and it's pretty obscure. You probably haven't heard of it unless you saw it mentioned in Scott Pilgrim, in which case, this is you massive hipster. No, I'm just kidding, I actually really like Scott Pilgrim. Look, my copy is signed. Yours isn't, so fuck off. Boom! In the face! You know, sometimes you just know something's going to be good. You just know. Everything about the presentation of Shatterhand is shit hot. I mean, look at it. The colours pop, the backgrounds are awesome, the sprites are clear and basic while still being impressively intricate. It's one of the all-time best-looking games on a system that already benefits from a distinct and evocative look. Shatterhand was originally a Japanese game based on a TV show called Super Rescue Soul Brain. I don't know what this is, but it was localised into this superlative leaping and punching simulator in which instead of a Power Ranger, you play as a bodacious 90s dude, possibly named Badical Radsworth. You'll have noticed those little Greek letters at the top of the screen. If you collect 3, you summon a little robot pal whose abilities and appearance depend on the order in which you collect either the alpha or beta icons. For example, Alpha Alpha Beta AAB here summons a little laser shooting drone, while Beta Alpha Alpha BAA summons a giant mechanical sheep with razor sharp wool. Nah, I'm joking. Shatterhand isn't an original game. NES action platformers are 10 a penny, but the sheer style and flair with which it's delivered really elevates the game into the higher tiers of the genre as represented on Nintendo's amazing 8-bit. It's tough but fair, requiring careful thinking to tackle even the simplest seeming enemy. Except for this guy, he's a piece of piss. The game cribs the stage selection gimmick from Mega Man, which is always welcome because it means that if you get stuck on a particular stage, and you probably will, you can go and bang your head against another one. Its design is linear, but it's compact and intricate in a satisfying way. It's an obstacle course, and one that encourages you to get just that little bit further. It's like, come on mate, girls are watching. Or boys, if you're a girl. Or girls, if you're a girl who likes girls, or the same for boys, or transgender, whatever. Look, I shouldn't have mentioned gender at all. I don't want to make it a thing. It's just a good game, okay? It's just good. It's just good. I mentioned earlier about the NES having a distinct look, and that's true, but it also extends to a feel that's very difficult to describe. Shatterhand has it in spades. With certain NES games, you can just look at them and know that's going to feel great to play, it's going to be smooth, it's going to be responsive, it's going to be a blast. NES action games that are fast, vivid, colourful, like the most exciting looking video games ever. Even today, even to an adult, the video games ever made are on the NES. Mega Man 2, Bucky O'Hare, Monster in My Pocket, Zen, Battletoads vs Double Dragon, DuckTales 2, Batman Revenge of the Joker, Rescue Rangers, Gargoyle's Quest 2, Contra. I mean, I'm going to court controversy now and say the SNES, when it came to action games, wasn't a patch on its daddy. I mean, of course, there are fast, enjoyable action games on the SNES, Claymates, Aladdin, Contra 3, others that I haven't listed, obviously, but it's a system that, to my mind, is most fondly remembered for its RPGs, and that's fine, but then what successor does the NES have? Where did all the fast-paced, loud, vivid action games go? Oh no, he didn't! This is not a console wars piece. I think both the Genesis and the SNES have their merits. They deserve their acclaim, but I think their strengths were distinct, and I think the NES ethos of fast, hard gaming migrated to the Genesis. Even the Genesis versions of multi-platform action games were often faster and superior. Chaos Engine, Earthworm Jim and Mickey Mania stand out. But fast and hard is what the NES did, and it's what the Genesis does. What the Super Nintendo can, but often doesn't. Now, I love both systems. There are no RPGs on Genesis that can hold a barge pole to the mass influx of excellent ones on SNES. Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Terranigma, Secret of Evermore... No, I can't. But the Genesis has the NES's heart smack there in the middle of it. See?
Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is a Game Boy Advance title originally released in 2004. This game received quite positive reviews from critics, but fans I've spoken to tend to bring up the large open world and confusing map as the reasons they couldn't enjoy the game. Well, it sucks that you can't enjoy it, because it is one of the best. Amazing Mirror is quite clearly brilliant, The large labyrinthine areas within the game are interlocked via doors and secret routes, which significantly increases the size of the game world compared to the one-shot format of the linear titles. Unless you like games that are done in 5 minutes. For those of you unfamiliar with the Kirby character, or who may have only seen him in Smash Bros., you are in dire need of education. Kirby's trademark ability is that he can copy the skills of his enemies. This is done by inhaling them and then swallowing them. Yes, nice, I see you're big on the crude humour. He sucks and swallows. Oh, how very original. He's named after a brand of vacuum cleaner, okay? Some of these powers though, I mean seriously. You could be an angel, you can wield a sword, you can... Is that his Smash Bros. Melee moveset? Kirby is exploring the Mirror World, which is broken into 8 smaller worlds, each with an alliterative name. The areas act as their own self-contained sections, but with rooms that connect back to the first area. Each world has a main boss, as well as several goals guarded by smaller bosses. They're all pretty cool. Like this boss, you have to knock it into an electrical wall to weaken it. That little bit of applause when you inflict the final hit, that's just... Of course, excellent players don't stop at killing the bosses and finding the shiny blue things, oh no. They stop at 100% completion. For that, you have to complete the main game story, find all other exits, collect all the collectible items such as spray paints, music tracks and extra vitality points, and enable all the shortcuts in the game. The final boss is amazing. Here come spoilers for a 10-year-old game. Do I really need to do this kind of thing? Whatever. The final boss, Dark Mind, consists of 4 separate battles, and after those battles is a very cool surprise that I want you to see yourself by playing the game. If you've been on the fence about this game, or you've had trouble playing it before, please consider giving it another chance. I really do honestly feel it's my favourite in the entire franchise. I don't say things like that lightly, so do it, play it, do it, do it!
I hate getting stuck in games. I don't hate challenge, I specifically hate this particular type of stuck. I hate not knowing where to go. I hate having looked everywhere and being completely stuck. I'm playing and enjoying Costume Quest, and I feel like I've been everywhere, done everything. There are a couple of areas I can't access, and I don't know how to do it. The worst thing is, it's going to be something obvious, something stupid, something really, really blatant that I've overlooked, or I've been told by the game how to do it, and I've forgotten or not paid attention because I'm a clumsy, stupid, mealy-mouthed, ugly, fat wanker who can't even attempt the most rudimentary of tasks without spunking it all up the fucking wall, like the worthless idiot I so clearly am. Fucking hell.
Starcraft, one of the last sprite-based RTSs in history, and one of the games that created esports. It's widely contended that Blizzard completely knocked this one out of the park. Gameplay is the standard RTS format created by Westwood. You harvest materials at your base to build more tiny dudes than your opponent, and then you stomp your opponent's base and his material gatherers for great victory. Starcraft, beloved by South Korea for training a generation in how to defeat the North that when the balloon finally comes up, is probably about as refined as a classical style RTS as you can physically get, but it's not without problems. Firstly, you can only control 12 units at a time, which sure be pretty bad if one faction was thematically designed about giant swarms of aliens, wouldn't it? Secondly, pathfinding is incredibly Teutonic, with units showing an incredibly stubborn resistance in any circumstances. Instead of just waiting at terrain bottlenecks, we'll go around the entire map, meaning you've got to constant babysit and micro them. Also, the cutscenes are terrifyingly bad. Just terrifying. Overall, the game has a great look and feel, but it is somewhat let down by strange, counterintuitive design choices.
Postscript. I figured it out, and yeah, it was really obvious. Jesus! Let me tell you something about fanfiction. It's a curse, you know. Everyone gets it, I'm sure. You like something. You like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog. But you're 16. And even at 16, you know you're too old for this shit. You write fanfiction, but you make it dark. You dark it all up. No shame in it, folks. I once wrote a piece of fanfiction in which Tails tore Shadow's heart out. It was a long time ago. You move on. You change gears. Freedom Planet's storyline is the product of someone who was never told no by their fanbase, whose every indulgence was met with rapturous appreciation by the kind of people I described earlier, but like right at the beginning of this, it was a matter of seconds. So you get these frankly grotesquely cute characters, twee as it's possible to be, just screeching Sonic fan character directly into your weary log holes. And then, like, this happens. And then there's a torture scene. And you're just like, what? And nobody just went, excuse me, Freedom Planet guy. Nobody went, do you not think that this might be at odds with the tone, mate? Nobody did that. And now we've got this relentless orgy of Sonic-y hubris, bold as brass, on the Steam store. Game's not bad, mind. Solid level design. Stages are a bit overlong, but it's fun. Decent player control, plenty of stuff to do. Bosses are a fun spectacle, but they feel designed for a different engine. They're basically like Mega Man Zero bosses with Sonic the Hedgehog physics, and they're precisely as awkward as that sounds. Get equipped with frustration. So yeah, pretty good game if you play it on arcade mode, which skips all the cutscenes, but the characters still all talk, and they still have god-awful annoying voices, so I don't know.
Are you a dragon? Yeah. Can I touch your hair? Huh? Oh, okay, never mind. No, it's okay. I was just surprised is all. Go ahead. I won't hurt you. It's like a rope!
If you don't mind the odd cringe, Freedom Planet is inarguably one hell of an achievement. Just don't expect anything aesthetically that you wouldn't find in someone's signature on a Pro Boards forum in 2004.
Chances are you know who this is. His game is weird. Strange, flat, anthropomorphic creatures populate a 3D world. Everybody seems to be a part-time MC. This thing exists. Adults hit on adolescent plants. The music is very catchy nonsense, and the plot is like something out of a manga. In fact, they even made an anime out of it. There are so many bizarre games that originate from Japan that even if they arrive in the UK, don't gain such a level of cultural importance. Only 3 games, and a remake in over 15 years, yet a playable character in Sony Smash Bros? Why does everyone know Parappa the Rapper's name? Well, I think the answer lies in demo discs. The late 90s was the golden age of the demo disc. Free with most magazines, they provided a glimpse into titles that were still far too expensive to splash out on willy-nilly. They allowed anyone to try before they bought, and exposed them to games they may never have played otherwise. I, for one, exhausted these things and would try every game on each one. I discovered Tombi this way, I discovered Silent Hill this way, I discovered Parappa the Rapper this way. The PS1 classic is largely recognised as the first of its kind, an experimental mishmash of rhythm-based button prompts in time with a bass music track. This is pre-DDR, pre-Guitar Hero. You hit the specific buttons in time with the prompts. You enable Parappa to rap. How well you perform the combinations will dictate the quality of your rapping, and a drop in your "you rapping" grade will reflect in the backing music. Most tracks hilariously featuring a quacking duck to signify how crap you're doing. It's simple enough, but hard to master. You can only be at best passable by perfectly emulating the lines that come at you. To achieve the game's cool status requires freestyling, improvising on the given line, yet adhering to the beat. Each button corresponds to syllables of Parappa's rap, and when shooting for cool status, he actually comes across as if he's speaking in tongues, which I guess is pretty cool. Parappa desperately wants to confess his love for Sunny Funny, but he's shy and doesn't realise his full potential. Therefore, each level takes the form of Parappa trying to train and learn things to become more grown up in his attempt to impress Sunny. And there are 6 levels, 6 songs. So it's a relatively small game, with not a huge amount of replay value either. Short and sweet, fleeting yet memorable. The rap tracks, taking full advantage of being able to use CD audio quality, are catchy and lend themselves to repeat plays. I've probably listened to the soundtrack on YouTube more times than I've actually played the game, ironically. Should you play Parappa the Rapper? Well, if you have it, sure, load it up. If you don't, and want to play the birth of rhythm gaming and have a PSP, play it there. You've been watching the PSP remake. The PS1 game, including the PSN version of the PS1 game, needs to be played on an old-fashioned CRT television, or it becomes almost impossible to hit prompts on time due to syncing issues. I'd recommend that if you do fancy picking it up, go with the PSP version as it's the most playable. However, I don't think you'd miss much by just watching the game being played through, unfortunately. In fact, watching on YouTube lets you see all the eccentric details in the art of Rodney Greenblatt, without having to focus on the button prompts. The levels are packed with fun little details that are easily missed while you're playing. What made Parappa so relevant in 1997, being the first of its kind, having a lot of Sony advertisement money thrown at it, demo discs and so on, is largely outdated and superfluous now. But the character, the kookiness, and the catchy rap nonsense are still as fun and unique as they ever were.
Why can't I just walk up there? I can do this. But I can't just walk up there. Oh, I can jump up the side, okay. Video games are stupid.
Puyo Pop is an addictive little puzzle game based on Harlan Ellison's I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. It was localised outside of Japan as games like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Clitoris Machine and Kirby's Avalanche, in which Kirby is intensely disrespectful to polite, well-intentioned people. That's just bloody rude. In Puyo Pop, you organise adorable little blobs, or Puyos, into groups of 4, causing them to violently explode. If planned correctly, you can make a chain reaction, causing the Puyos to cascade down and racking up a lot of points in a wholesome and satisfying manner. So when I got a fever and the only cure was more Puyo Pop, I was delighted to find that I could play this classic puzzle title on the go. Or, more accurately, on the toilet. All Sonic Team had to do was port the formula onto the Nintendo DS and we'd be onto a winner. Unfortunately, Sonic Team, being the Chuckle Brothers of game development, managed to blunder this incredibly simple task. Oh dear, oh dear. The first thing you'll notice is that Puyo Pop Fever is disorientingly twee. Colours are used with childish abandon, and it's often genuinely difficult to look at as a result. Look at this title screen, it is impossible to process. Nowhere is this disregard for aesthetic more apparent than in the main character, who is named Moe Toad from Super Mario Bros. Her design incorporates every colour in existence, which is just decadent if you ask me. When you successfully clear Puyos, which happens a lot, she jumps in front of the screen and screams, "Lizard!" This is just a harmless prank though, there is no lizard, I've checked. Sometimes, after some nebulous criteria has been met, the game enters fever mode, which is just like a fever in that you don't know what's going on and then you die. All of a sudden the game gets bored of your fat-fisted incompetence and cuts out the middleman by placing the Puyos itself. Then it asks you to perform the patronisingly simple task of matching 2 colours. Do this and the whole screen comes tumbling down like Jenga, or My Nan at Christmas, all but handing one player an easy and undeserved win. So, all in all, Puyo Pop Fever is not unlike gorging on a large cake covered in marzipan. Fundamentally it's good, but it's sickly sweet and it'll probably give you a fever.
There's a very strange bit of revisionism spreading through the internet like your mum's legs. No, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, let me just start again. There's a very strange bit of revisionism infecting the internet like your mum's herpes. No. There's a very strange bit of revisionism that exists on the internet regarding Rareware's Donkey Kong Country for Super NES. I think it stems from the admittedly justified reverence for Shigeru Miyamoto and the apparent quote of his, "Donkey Kong Country proves that players will put up with mediocre gameplay as long as the art is good. Get you, Shigeru, you bitch! Meow!" He's since rejected that sentiment as a rumour, but the internet has seized on it, and there are a lot of forum posts and articles and such along the lines of, was Donkey Kong Country really any good? I'm here to analyse that question objectively, weigh up all the considerations of either side, and oh wait, I'm done, yes it was any good, it's a masterpiece. The play control is astonishingly smooth. Revisiting it for this video, it was even better than I remember. It captures the feeling of being a nimble monkey soaring through the treetops better than anything else, and I would know. The way your roll jump carries momentum, the way bouncing off enemies and cascading through them propels you forwards faster and faster, it's an absolute blast to speed through, and the GBA version realised this with a fully featured time trial and score attack mode, which is addictive as sin, but unfortunately that version looks like Haribo throw up. Even when you're not barreling through, pun intended, the game's a treat to explore, with copious hidden rooms and collectibles leading to bonus rooms like this one, which accurately recreate the feeling of Scrooge McDuck's money bin. Secrets are layered on secrets and make you feel like a genius for figuring them out. Even Donkey Kong's hand slap can reveal hidden items underground, another layer of exploration for this excellent game. It's not Yoshi's Island, but nothing is, not even Yoshi's Island. It's a brilliantly made, atmospheric, great to control game with fantastic music. Seriously, listen. In conclusion, the next time someone says that Donkey Kong Country was overrated, shove a banana up their ass.
Here's Mignon!
Oh, I think I'm going to be sick.
Mignon looks nice? Does Mignon look nice?
No, Mignon does not look nice. Okay, Mignon looks nice. Stop beating me up now.
Well, that's a cock for a start. Knuckles Chaotix is a shit game released for 32X, which was shit. You can't even really compare it to anything funny looking, it's just ugly and bad. The main issue with the game is that it's impossible for the rational human mind to comprehend. I think a succinct way to demonstrate the disparity between the earlier Sonic games and Knuckles Chaotix is through its lifts. Look at this excellent, exciting lift, and then right next to it, another, even better one. Now look at this shit lift. Boring. Look at this, I'm pressing buttons, but like, to what end? To what effect? Look at the crocodile, what's he doing? And now I guess I'm massive. Like, okay. This isn't an amazing arena. This is an amazing arena. Oh yeah. Because the 32X could display a lot more colours than the vanilla Mega Drive could, they just throw all of the colours in the world on the screen without any care whatsoever for aesthetics. Every 32X game is like this, and so are a lot of Mega Drive games. There's no level design or structure whatsoever. This is a level design because you have to jump over these pits and not die. This is a level design because, like, you go up a ladder and there's a bloke and then there's a slope. This is a level design because, like, you bounce off these snowmen and then there's a hench fella. This is a level design because you go up these invisible platforms to collect MacDonald's logos. This is a level design because you go about as Ronald McDonald and use your scarf to climb shit and shoot people in the dick. God, I'm hungry now. This is like playing the sound of a fart. And now I'm stuck in the wall. I didn't even mean to do that. I wasn't even trying to do that. In conclusion, oh, it's not very good, lads.